Hello, assalamu alaikum, Nastasriya Khawla, namaste. My name is Farheen Khan, and you're watching the Azeeza show. And today we're actually going to talk about something that I think is really important to talk about, which is called finding common ground. How do we connect with different communities? How do we bridge, build, and how do we create a more inclusive Canada for all of us and inclusive society no matter where you live? So with me are my two guests, Khawla, Taha, and Faris. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. So why don't we start with you giving us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll get right into it.
Yeah. Hi, Farheen. Thank you for having us for the interview today. My name is Khawla Taha. I am the mother for 5 children. I came to Canada 2011, and after 25 years experience in different fields, education and hospitals, I decided to contribute my time and to help the community. And since the day I came to Canada, and help who's in need, to help spread like my smile everywhere.
Yes.
And to give peace for other, and to be involved with many volunteers and arrangement for many events for the community.
Sure.
This is about myself.
Wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you for being here. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for letting me having this opportunity with you, Farheen. And it's really a great honor to be with you today. My name is Nancy Faris. I'm an Arabic singer. I've been born and raised in United Arab Emirates. I've always been there, and I just came to Canada a year ago.
Wow.
So I'm just...
You're still very new.
Yeah, I'm still new here. So actually, I'm looking forward to continue in my singing career, because like singing is part of who I am. It expresses my feelings.
For sure.
So yeah, this is all about me.
Wonderful.
So singing is my passion, actually.
Okay, great. So Nancy, tell us, like when you sing, you have like, I was going to ask you, how do you manage to attract a wider audience? Because you sing in Arabic, right? But you have certain Western instruments that you use as part of your bands and stuff. You want to tell us about that?
Well, actually, let me say that it's really important to preserve our cultural heritage between people and different cultures, because at the end it keeps our integrity as a people. Now, how I want to introduce it is, I would love to be inspired as well by other culture, not only with my culture.
For sure.
Yeah, and as well that it also gives connection to between people to certain social values, beliefs, religions, as well as customs. So I really hope in this way we can broaden the scope to better opportunities and acceptance.
For sure.
So yeah.
And have you found so far, like, the response has been good from people who've listened to you?
Yeah, thanks God. Alhamdulillah.
That's great, amazing.
Yeah.
So Khawla, what do you think? I mean, these days there's so much, we keep hearing in the news, like there's so much racism and Islamophobia, there's so much hatefulness, right? How do you've done so many events in the community, I know we've had a chance to go around to a lot of different places, and people seem to know you and recognize your smile and just, the cheerfulness that you bring to society. Like what is it that you think would be, or how do you feel that, we can start to bridge some of that, that ignorance and that hatefulness? How do we do that?
Actually, from my opinion, and what it's like, I believe 90% about what's the hate for Islam, it's a media and some individual work. And again, some people, they hate both, even the Muslim and the Christian, and this is what happened in many countries, Middle East and different places. And again, it's about after September 11, we focus all these things. And this is what happened because of Qaeda and ISIS now. they are not a real Muslim actually. They are creative to give like a bad
reputation, right?
yeah, about a Muslim.
Right.
With me, with you, with Nancy, with many people in the community, and we can change.
Right, that perception. That
Yes,
image
we
that's
can
being
change
portrayed
the
in media.
image,
Right.
how they are thinking about the
People
Muslim.
perceive us, right? And how do we do that?
Yeah, I do that. You know, here in Canada, like it's a country for diversity, and I believe in that. And there is like last year, I decided, to bring all the community, all the women in the community together,
Right.
and I work hard, and for 3 weeks, we had that night 24 community represent their culture in one place. Like we have more than 350, 400 women from the different community, and we represent. We all together, like we have like a good time, and we. And when I, did this event, I find how, we can be always together. And Canada give us this option, it's like to be country of diversity.
Right, to embrace our differences.
That's why I call my event Woman of Diversity.
Very cool.
And
what was the response like?
Again, with all the community engagement.
Yes.
I believe it's changed the culture.
It shows a positive image.
And shows the positive image about us.
Right.
That's it.
Well, I know that with one of the things that one of the groups that I've been a part of over the past, we do these things called Nights of Empowerment, where we have people from the different, for example, the Muslim community who are coming to speak about their stories, but they're just good people doing good work, right? And it's an opportunity for people to come in and to listen to their stories. And it's just it's another small way of being able to challenge some of that negativity, right? With the positive image, with a positive face to what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, and again, it's like a part to empower the other woman and to be example for them.
For sure.
Because again, like many of the women, they ask me, "Oh, how you find time with 5 children?"
Yeah, for sure. Tell us, how do you find time?
She's tired.
Actually, we have 24 hours
at
the day.
Right.
And if you have like a good time management,
yes,
you can do a lot.
For sure.
Don't complain, "Oh, I don't have a time." No, we have time.
Right.
But what we need to think, to manage our time and to have a passion, to go,
the passion,
to help.
exactly.
The passion. Right. This is like the only thing it's easy.
Right.
And everyone, we have the same day, we have the same time.
Yeah, but some people are lazy. It's not about we all.
But what we do, it's like I try to be like to empower the other.
Yes, for sure.
With all my responsibility, with my family issue, I can do, and they can do.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing impossible, and always I said, life is giving, giving is a life.
Yes.
More you give, more you receive.
Yes, exactly. Amazing.
And again, with love, with a smile, you will get everything. Relax.
That's the thing, eh? So that's perfect. So Nancy, what do you think? What do you think about your, so you talked about the fact that you preserve your heritage, and in a lot of ways it's important to do that. Do you find that there's been any sort of challenges in actually doing that kind of folk music?
Well, honestly, how do I say it? Some millions of people are being silenced and ignored by what they want to say. So with my music and my passion, this might help. I might talk on behalf of them. I might, this will hit the spot for everyone. So this is my aim, honestly.
And what kind of messages do you generally share?
Love, peace, Yeah, I don't specify. I sing for all cultures. It's all about peace and love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really important because that's what it is,
Exactly.
right? It's
yeah.
about, and I
At the
think
end, we
that's
are
true.
all human beings.
Yes, and I
it's
think
not
that's-
about your religion. It's
For
not
sure.
about my, like, I don't have to be rude to an Indian person because he's not from my same culture.
Exactly.
At the end, I mentioned it previously. We all have to be inspired by other cultures,
Yes.
and that's really very important, so that we won't ever get each other wrong. You know, each has their own beliefs, their own culture.
For sure. And I think that's what you touched on, the idea of like the human element, right?
Exactly.
I think part of what, Khala, we were talking about earlier was just the fact that when we talk, when we see ourselves being any community, it doesn't have to be just the Muslim community, any community.
Yeah.
When they're dehumanized to that point where there's really no face anymore, that's when you start to see the hate come out, right?
Exactly.
When you start to really humanize each other, whether it be through an event like the one you talked about, whether it's through your music or whether it's through an event that I'm, in like a discussion that we have with a group of people, or whether it's through this show, for example, where people are hearing us, right? It's a way to humanize us again. It's to really recognize that at the end of the day, you're right, we're human beings, and we really want to inspire one another to just be good and to be authentic, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Nancy, do you want to share a bit of your music with us?
Yeah, for sure. Why not? So I'm going to say something. Actually, in our culture, it's called mawal. It's like the beginning of the song.
Right.
I'll make it so quick. So. دعوني للهوى هم من دعوني دعوني للهوى هم من دعوني ولما سافروا ما ودعوني أمان 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 أماني يا ويلي دعوني أبكي فرقاهم دعوني بعدهم أعيش الهنا مع الطاب أمان 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 أماني ويلي اليرات على عبيه يابا حول وارتاح شويه وحولي عينك الله يابا شيخ القبيله بيا شيخ القبيله بيا.
Wow, wonderful. Amazing.
You have a lot.
Okay, great. So can you tell us maybe what that means, or what the essence of it?
So basically it's about someone who like, okay, can you help me?
He left his loved one.
Yeah, so he left his beloved ones and didn't say goodbye. So he's like, it's he's upset. He's so mad. They at least they just wanted to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
So it's saying goodbye to the beloved ones.
Right. Okay.
Before you leave.
And complain. Then the song starts about complaining. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So what? So now let's talk a little bit about like what inspired you to get into music. Tell us the story.
Okay, well, that's funny. I'll be honest with you.
Sure, please.
Okay, first, honestly, I used to read Quran since I was 6 years old. I do still read Quran, of course. But one day my mom, she was like, let's try you singing.
Right.
And honestly, it worked. And honestly, like, previously my mom used to sing. So,
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
And until today, she's like, oh, you got this from me, you got this from me. Thank you, Mom, thank you. So yeah.
It's a genetics.
It was inspired by my mom, actually.
Amazing.
And yeah, my family are supporting me, and
Right.
I'm really just so glad for that.
Fantastic. Well, I know that there's an event coming up in November that we're going to talk more about in the next segment, the Unity Gala, and you're going to be speaking. You're going to be singing there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very exciting. So, I just want to take a quick moment and just talk about what Khawla, you talked earlier about sort of passion, right? Where do you find the passion from? Why is it important to do the work that you do?
Actually, I found it from my dad.
Really?
Yeah. I got a lot of things from him, how he's always giving.
Can we just take a quick break, and I want to hear that when we come back. Okay, we'll be back in just a minute. Thanks so much. Okay, welcome back. We're watching the Azeeza show, and we were just talking to Khawla about finding common ground. So why don't we, Khawla, you were telling us that your father inspired you, and that's why you're passionate. Tell us why.
Because all his life, I remember he's give back to the community, to the family, to everyone, and to anyone need help, he always stand by.
Right.
I got it from him. And the other thing, when I work at the hospital, I spent 14 years from my experience.
Sure.
At the hospital, every day I saw, the sick people. And, after this time, when I spend this all time, I said, the life, it's short.
Yeah.
Life is short, and why we have to each other hate? No. Like, we have to love each other. We have to help the people in need.
Right.
And believe me, like every day when I was working in the hospital, when I do something, even small for the patient or with any project I did before, I feel like, I'm so happy. When I go back to the home, I'm so happy today I did something.
Yes.
And because again, I believe, as I mentioned before,
Sure.
life is giving, giving is life.
Yes, absolutely.
And with all the giving in a good way, God will protect you, protect your family.
Comes back.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's coming.
it's like good
yeah.
karma, right?
Yeah,
it comes
it's a
back to you
karma.
for sure. Sounds good. Wonderful. So Nancy, do you want to share another song with us?
Yeah, sure. So, okay. الوينك يا راقدني يا مسير الإنسان وحياة عدل السمان والوطن وحياة حلك تزيل الحقد عن موطني لو كان هو الصلب ابنك عخشبان 30 سنة الحرب ببلادنا شغلان والنار عم تندلع بغصون أرزات ومن فقش موج البحر عم يطلع الدخان متفرجين الدول دفي وعجمرات Thank you.
Wonderful. So tell us, what does that mean? What was the essence of that song?
She's calling Lord.
Okay.
And she's talk about the war it's happened in the Middle East and how it affects, everyone, the Muslim, the Christian, and how it's like with the war we lose everything.
Right.
We lose the trees.
It affects everyone.
The people. Right. We have many people. They are die for what? And she said enough.
So you're trying to promote peace.
Yeah,
enough
she
with
said
the war.
it's enough.
Right.
What's
enough
happened for 30 years and more than that.
Right. This is about peace. It's not about violence, for sure. No, and that's the thing, right? We want to be able to inspire people to be, peace loving and deal with nonviolence, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So why don't we talk about this gala that's coming up on the 2nd of November? It's called the Unity Gala, right?
Yeah.
And, so you're going to do some of your singing there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Exciting. I know that I guess I can share a little bit about what the gala is and why it's important. So one of the things is there's, after, actually, interestingly enough, we talk about people coming together and doing some really great things. Well, after, I remember in 2015, I ran in the federal election, and after that, there was the first attacks in Paris. And, at the time, a lot of the media people reached out to me and said, Farheen, what do you think about this, right? Like, because, unfortunately, there was some name that, was some person who happened to have a Muslim name, and so everybody, assumed that, oh, here we go again, right? So, I remember at the time putting out something on social media and just saying, this is yet again another example of somebody who does not represent me or my community, and this is just an unwell person who's doing this. This does not reflect all of who we are, right? And I remember media reaching out and saying, well, okay, then tell us, like, what do you have to say? And a lot of people in social media, actually, people who weren't from my own community, right? Lots of like allies from all over across came together and said, what can we do to make a change? How can we start to challenge this narrative? How do we create those spaces to have those conversations? So that's where this group came together called the Uniting Muslims and Allies for Humanity. So we said, okay, you know what? It's called Ummah, right? Which we know, in Arabic is all about the community, right? Building a sense of community. So, that's sort of what the Unity Gala is all about. It's about creating that space to be able to have that conversation. It's to be able to bridge that gap, right? A lot of people, we talk to, it's true. Like I remember, for me, for example, I talk about the fact that there, I think a lot of ignorance can be challenged through education, right? Yeah, you'll have those who are, hateful no matter what. That's a whole different group. But there's a large segment of people who are actually willing to listen, right? And to learn and to educate themselves and recognize that perhaps they haven't had exposure to the right kind, to different groups of people, but, they're willing to learn, right? So that's the group that we're trying to invite out to the Unity Gala to say, come out, learn from us, listen to, who we are, and, how do we start to challenge that narrative? How do we come together so that we actually, can walk together? I mean, in these difficult political times when there's so much hatefulness and division amongst people, it's so hard to, it's so easy to become more and more isolated, right? And so this is about, pulling people together and saying, okay, let's come together, let's have a great time, let's learn from one another, and like let's embrace our diversity, right?
Yeah.
And our speaker, our headliner entertainer at the event is also a man named Jeremy McClellan, who's very famous in terms of his comedy, and a lot of his comedy is around surrounds this type of work where it's all about using it as a medium to challenge some of those stereotypes, right? Yeah. So it should be an interesting night.
Yeah,
it's well.
For sure. So do you guys have any other thoughts in terms of how else, like what could people in the audience, if they wanted to start getting involved or being able to become change makers, what advice would you give them?
Advice to try and try and try. And again, to be volunteer.
Right.
Another things we said, you cannot clap in one hand. Mm-hmm. If we be all together as a one hand, we can do a lot. For sure. We need to join forces, for sure. Yes. Awesome. Anything else? Last minute, we've got like 30 seconds, Nancy.
Well, as Khawla said, never stop trying. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And always have faith. But I really forgot. But
okay, that's okay. That's okay. Well, thank you both for being on the show. And we'll hope to see you. I know I'll be there at the gala, and looking forward to
November 4th.
November 2nd.
Second.
Unity Gala. It's okay. Okay. Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being on the show today, and to speak about finding common ground. It's so important to remain connected and to embrace our diversity. Until next week, take care.